well, a big day at Anfield with the opening of the main stand, and thankfully matters on the pitch went well as well. Piercy, a really good win for the Reds against the champions.
Certainly was, yeah. I think it was a big statement of intent tonight for Liverpool. You know, big occasion back at Anfield for the first time in 4 months. You know, fair bit of pressure around as well. You know, needing to put in a big performance and a big win. They did just that. I thought there's still room for improvement in areas. I think in parts of the game they let things slip a little bit, but you know, as an attacking force, they were irresistible at times, and I think it just gave you a bit of a snapshot of what they are capable of achieving this season. Because you know, it was when Sturridge and Firmino and Mane and Lallana are operating like that, they're going to do some serious damage to a lot of top teams. And you know, Leicester are no mugs. You know, but Liverpool just carved them apart time and time again. And the pace, the creativity, the invention, and some of the finishing quality as well was a sight to behold.
Ian, there were some fine performances all over the pitch, as Piercy says. 2 from Roberto Firmino, who was excellent throughout, thought, and obviously Mane's been the man of the season so far, hasn't he?
I mean, Mane's the one that everyone will talk about simply because he's the new player and he's got the tricks and flicks, but I think we all agree. I think that Roberto Firmino was the star of the show. He got the 2 goals, and he had one of his normal games where you thought for a little while he wasn't really doing a lot, and then suddenly you realise he's got a goal, and then he's doing a few tricks. And he's somebody who, I think this season, he's somebody who, in the way that Klopp likes to play, the system he likes to play, he's going to be integral. Whether it's, you know, a lot's made of the fact that when they played the likes of Manchester City, where you could even say Chelsea, where it could happen on Friday, that he's going to be playing up front as the false 9. A lot's been made of that, but wherever he's playing it, along the attacking 3 or up front, he's somebody who makes things happen.
Piercy, at the other end of the field, there was a couple of interesting performances. You should reflect on Lucas, brought in sort of relatively at the last minute with Lovren getting injured in training yesterday. Obviously made a mistake for the Leicester goal, but apart from that, did a lot of good things in the game, I thought. And Simon Mignolet came and missed a punch in the first half, which sort of had a lot of the crowd groaning, but made a crucial save in the second half from Vardy to keep Liverpool 2 goals ahead.
Yeah, they did. I think both Mignolet and Lucas, you know, kind of showed their experience and maturity to put what happened behind them. Because you know, Mignolet did have to face a fair few moans and groans in the first half, especially when he came for that throw and didn't get there, and it was a let off. But you know, he made a massive save from Vardy, you know, at a time in the second half where Leicester were just getting back into it. And if they'd scored then and made it 3-2, I think it would have got very, very edgy. But you know, apart from that one in the first half, he also commanded his box really well today. I think, you know, he came for a lot of crosses and throws, punched well, alleviated pressure. And you're right about Lucas as well. I mean, of course, it was a terrible mistake from him to gift Leicester a lifeline in a game that they weren't even in really at that point. But you know, he did put it behind him. Some players would have buckled after, you know, a calamitous mistake like that. But he made some key interceptions, and you know, it certainly wasn't ideal losing Lovren yesterday. But you know, Lucas stepped in, and you know, it was a tough examination as well for someone like Vardy flying at him. But you know, he does read the game well, and you know, I think it helped as well that Joel Matip, he had him alongside him, because Matip just goes from strength to strength. He's a class act and a towering presence back there, and has made a really positive start to his Liverpool career.
Ian, we're sat here in the depths of the new stand in the new shiny Anfield press conference room. You were here a little while ago to hear Jurgen Klopp's thoughts on the game, and he wasn't too happy with the crowd for one reason, didn't he?
There was an incident in the second half. It was funny enough. It was when James just mentioned then the chance from Vardy. Is that just before that, the crowd was singing Jurgen Klopp's name. Jurgen Klopp got out with he was always standing up in the technical area, and he kind of took umbrage with what they were doing, and he turned round and saw, you know, Leicester were through. Mignolet makes the save. The minute that makes the save, he turns straight back to the crowd and starts pointing at them as if to say, look, well, you know, not that that's your fault, but he was kind of suggesting afterwards there was still 25 minutes to go. He didn't want any sense of complacency. He didn't want them to be celebrating a game that was still relatively in the balance. And he just wants them, he said afterwards, that he doesn't want to hear his name being chanted until a game's decided, which you would assume would mean after the final whistle if Liverpool have won. But otherwise, he was in, you know, he didn't want to dwell on that as a negative. He was saying it was a very good performance. He was happy with it. He thought there was still room, as James said, for improvement. He also mentioned about what he said at half time. He said it was quite interesting because this was a challenge that last season that Liverpool had several times where when things have gone really well, they've played very well, but then the minute something goes wrong, they've sometimes just tended to crumble. But he said this time, he said to the basically the boys, this is the challenge, we've got to overcome this, and they did by going on and winning the game. So I think he took more out of that than perhaps just the victory itself.
Well, an important day for Liverpool Football Club, a new era here at Anfield. The owners were here to witness it. I think they'll have been pleased with what they've seen, both on and off the pitch, and a 4-1 win against the champions will take that every time.